Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about tarot. Is it real or is it fake? From my experience, I have found tarot to be real, given you put it in the proper context. If you're looking for winning lottery numbers, then you will be disappointed. You don't have to be psychic to use the tarot. If tarot was, if it could effectively pick out winning lottery numbers for you, then there would be a lot of winners in the lottery, because there's apparently a lot of psychics who can predict the future, but it's not going to happen with tarot. And the reason why that is because a game like the lottery is intrinsically random, in that what happens in the past and present and future are all independent of each other and have no correlation to what the past and the present and the future all have to do with each other. That's just the way it is. Also, if you could predict the lottery numbers with the tarot decks or any form of divination, then all the psychics would be doing it. So let's say now you have 1 million psychics and $1 million jackpot. No one's really going to win $1 million. They're going to win their dollar back. So in a way, it's kind of designed to keep that from happening. So just kind of keep that into perspective. Now, if you're looking for advice to help you see the outcomes of things in your life and help explain things of your past and give you perspective in helping you make the right decision or how to improve your decision or what to watch out for, the tarot deck is a great source of information and knowledge. Now, that being said, there are fake psychics, wannabe psychics who don't know what they're talking about, but I guess you could say they mean well, and just con artists in general, who will tell you anything just to get your money. And so a lot of people are probably here thinking, well, should I go to a psychic? But I don't know. Either you're creeped out by them, you don't trust them. I don't blame you. So oftentimes people pick up a book and go from there. And so the question is, well, where do I go from here? I think a good start is you get a nice deck. The good starter decks are the Rider-Waite deck, which is this one. There's actually many different versions of the Rider-Waite deck, and the only difference in it is how they're colored. That's the difference. If anything, I just start with the standard, but you can see if you like the colors of the other ones. Golden Tarot, I think, is another great one, and it comes with a little booklet right here, a little set there for about, I think I picked it up for like 17, 20 bucks there. But as far as books go, I think the best, for you to understand what's going to happen, what you're doing, and what you're reading, I recommend this book, the Tarot, The Game of Divination. I found that on a website called lulu.com. I've had many books in the past, but none that really clarified things and simplified it for me like that one. I'm not saying it's the only book you should get, but it's definitely one of the first. And if you don't have it in your collection, I highly recommend that you do. With that being said, we go on to predicting the future with tarot card decks. Now, tarot card predicts the future based on how the situation is unfolding. For example, here's a guy at a party and he jumps into the pool. What is the likelihood that he will get wet? It's pretty likely. So the past is you have a guy who wants to jump in the pool. In the present, he's jumping into the pool, and in the future, he's wet. Very likely that will happen. How can you change that? Well, you have the guy. He's going to jump in the pool, but this time he has a waterproof outfit which completely surrounds his body. He jumps into the pool, and now he's not wet. He's dry, but he's in the pool. So you see how you can change your future? It starts out the same, but because of that change you make, the outcome comes out different. Does it say you can completely stop what's going to happen? No, but you may change the severity of anything bad or increase the benefit of it or completely turn around the situation. Now, that whole analogy of the guy jumping in the water, I kind of took it out of this book, so I'm going to give you credit for that one so I don't get in trouble, Mr. Solomon Barajas there. So yeah, so if someone asks you a question, you make a reference to the past, the present, the future, and then you can predict your future based on the events that are occurring. Furthermore, there are ways to interpret it, because if you've never done this before, you're looking at it. Well, how do you get that information out of just looking at the cards? There are interpretations in books that tell you what the cards stand for. Some give you like a list of 80 words for the meaning of one card, which is not helpful at all. Some get close, but they don't really help you put a kind of a more definite, clear meaning. This one actually does a really great job. Common sense, you also need to use common sense when you're doing tarot card readings. I want to make that very clear. So if you have good common sense or are willing to use it, then tarot will help you out immensely, because it gives you like a second opinion sometimes. So it's like advice, and then it kind of spells out what happened in the past, so it helps you understand it. What I don't recommend you use tarot for is getting permission. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When I do readings for people, oftentimes when it comes to doing tarot card readings for women, which is my main clientele base, it's 90% of the time it's a relationship issue, and usually they're having issues with their current relationship and are looking, they met another guy who they're thinking of probably taking off with, usually cheating on the spouse. Now the cards are laid out. Once in a while it'll say, go ahead and jump into this relationship as is without any consequence. Just do it. And so, that's what the cards say. But most of the time, it doesn't say, yeah, go ahead and do it. No. It actually spells out the situation, and usually it'll say something like, well, it's just a passing fancy. You shouldn't act on it because it's going to go nowhere. Or if you want to move on to this new relationship, you need to cut it off with this guy first. That's how it spells it out. And they often don't like that, because you find out most of them were looking for a permission to go do it. They didn't, the consequences of it weren't what they were thinking about. And these are people who are very impulsive and says, no, I want to do it anyway. And then because they went out and they didn't listen to my advice, some have come in the past and told me this, how I know the card was right. They ended up not getting what they were hoping for. It's what the card said. You're not going to get what you wanted. I'm not going to get into specifics. You can get more specific and then kind of vague. Tarot is read off based off the imagery that you see and the interpretations that are given. One way to assess how helpful your psychic is, let's say you get a book, you get familiar with what's going on. Now you go to a psychic. Now this one only does a 3-card spread, but these other books, they give you a more complicated layout. If I were you and you're familiar with one way of doing tarot, you can, at least for starters, you may want to ask your psychic, if you choose to go to one, if you can just do, I just want a simple 3-card spread. That way you're kind of familiar with it. They make the interpretation, and then you kind of have your idea of what's going on, and then you can assess does this person know what they're talking about? Because it's like going to a guy who's in the stock market, an investor, let's say a brand new investor. Let's say you've studied investing and you have an idea, but you don't have the time to completely follow everything that's going on. So let's say, because I know what companies are good, I have an idea of what's good and what's bad, and then now you go to an investor and then he shows you a completely weird portfolio where where'd you get this from? And then you're going to know, well, maybe I don't want to use this guy to invest my money. This is kind of how you want to go about your finding a psychic for your tarot card reader. So that's my 2 cents on it. I hope that was clear. I guess I'll see it when this is posted up on YouTube. Any questions, feel free to ask. I got other videos that cover tarot, as far as books, how to choose a card, shuffling, so on and so forth. So maybe that'll answer your other questions that you may have. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.